meetings this morning. Of course, we began with our salary board meeting and then of course followed by the formal board of commissioners meeting. Today, April 27th, 2023, 20 hours and 9:30 has arrived. So we will open the meeting of the salary board and ask for a roll call of members present, please.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
Commissioner Fauci.
I'm here.
Commissioner DiFilippo.
Present.
Deputy Controller DeGrosso.
Present.
Okay, very good. All right, so at this point we have public comment available for issues regarding salary. Nothing, okay. That'll move us along. Okay, we have the minutes in hand of April 13, 2023 for the last salary board. Action on those.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of salary board meeting April 13, 2023. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Just item 5, the salary board actions that were reviewed. Those require action as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the salary board action as presented.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Brings us to other business for the salary board. Anything additional? Nothing. So we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Stand adjourned. That moves us into the formal board of commissioners meeting. Go on the pledge of allegiance. Yes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that moves us to call members present, please.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
Commissioner Fauci.
I'm here.
Commissioner DiFilippo.
Present. Okay, very good. We have opportunity for public comment. This is to comment on any, if it's an agenda item, we ask you to address it when that item is arises. Anything additional, now's the time. Yes, sir.
Danny Lebo for the court, and I would be willing to defer to the agenda item number 4 and speak after them.
To the what? I'm sorry. Defer to
Defer to agenda item 4
agenda item.
and speak after that recognition.
Oh, okay. Sure. All right, that sounds good. Okay, so that brings us any additional public comment? Anybody online? Okay, that brings us to item 4. We have a recognition here. Mr. Fauci, want to take the lead on this?
Christina Rowland. I just want to tell you what an honor it is to know you. And how nice it was to meet your mom and dad at the Capitol, and how nice it was to share that celebration with you. But so Christina Rowland, and we have a beautiful proclamation for you, but she has received the Blue Ribbon Champion for Safe Kids Award. This is a state level award selected because of her 30 years of commitment to keeping kids safe. It's just amazing. And I'm so honored that you're here in Cumberland County. I know that the board is, and I just thank you for your years of service. It's just so impressive and gives me goosebumps that you're here. So thank you so much. So if you want to come up, I'll read the proclamation and we can get some nice photos. Okay. Yeah. I listened to Samantha.
Smart way.
I know better. So, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners hereby recognizes and honors Christina L. Rowland as the recipient of the PA Blue Ribbon Champions for Safe Kids Award. Christina, who serves as the Director of Intake Services at Children and Youth Services, was honored earlier this month at the Pennsylvania State Capitol by the PA Family Support Alliance for going above and beyond the call of duty to support and protect children in Cumberland County. For more than 3 decades, Christina has made it her mission to ensure the safety of children. She is a role model for all of us and embodies the high standards of Cumberland County Children and Youth Services. The Cumberland County Board of Commissioners is pleased to recognize Christina Rowland for her dedication and passion to the protection of our children. And of course, it's presented today, but really, I mean, it's just amazing. You know, children are our greatest asset and our greatest treasure. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
We're gonna do a photo.
Can I get you to?
Oh, sure. right. Okay, I'm gonna take a couple, all right? Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Eichelberger, Commissioner DeFilippo. 2 weeks ago, while refusing to apologize for not announcing the Attorney General's response back in 2017, 2 months before an election that I was involved in, you stated that you had a great difference of recollection of events surrounding your complaint to the Attorney General regarding supposed criminal behavior by me. But we don't have to depend on your recollection of events, Mr. Eichelberger. The Commissioner's complaint filing was well covered by those who received your press release, including Penn Live, who included posting your file of evidence, quote unquote, that you sent to the AG. That filing is at 2017. If you Google 2017 Commissioner asked AG to investigate, you will find that article and the posting at the bottom that has all the documents they sent to them. That file contained 27 images, and many are very curious. Multiple pages were provided by Brian Gimbuzia, who was on the party's candidate interview committee and had access to many documents through party sources. Those documents provided by him were clearly not very closely analyzed to determine if they came from a county source. There were also numerous duplications within the 27 pages. If you look at the first top document that's put together, you will see that it's an email from Brian Jambuzia's email. It was from a private citizen and to another private citizen. There was nothing on there to indicate this came from my computer, that came from me at all. Why was that included in that file? What was that supposed to prove to the AG?
You have 1 minute left.
I want some answers. I'm asking questions.
This is an opportunity for public comment.
This was handled in the public. The charges against me were handled in the public at this meeting. I have a right to have answers to my questions from this
Actually, you don't.
body in my meeting.
Not in this form, you don't.
Pardon?
Not in this form, you don't.
What
We're
form do I
really
have?
getting very old information.
What form do I have?
Well,
What do you mean very old information? What
Yes,
information you
yes,
provided?
yes, to solicit.
This is an opportunity under the Sunshine Law for public comment. It's not an inquisition. It is your opportunity to make comment to the Board of Commissioners.
And I
On
cannot
relevant issues.
ask
You
about
can
documents
ask,
that was provided by this body in public,
you can
announced
ask.
to the world that I
you
had
can
no more
ask
charges
any
against
question.
me.
You can ask any question you want. They have no obligation to answer.
Okay? Guy, to ask a question then, is it my understanding now, since I received no apology for even the email with the vulgar content, that the email policy does not apply to the commissioners?
I'll only make one comment, and that is the policies of the county had to be substantially revised and rewritten specifically because of your abuses.
You're the one that used the vulgarity, not me. You're the one, and that vulgarity comments were in the policy long before that.
Mhm.
Is that, do I assume correctly that it does not apply to the commissioners? Because there's been no censure of Mr. Eichelberger for his vulgar
Yeah,
content.
You received a private censure, which we agreed to keep.
Pardon?
And you received a private censure, which we agreed to keep private. But
Okay.
if you want to have a
It wasn't
public
private.
discussion about it, we can talk about.
It wasn't a
your public
private censure. It was not a private censure.
Yeah, it was.
No, it
You and
wasn't.
Mr. Buell both.
No, it wasn't.
So,
It was not.
Okay, I think we're done here. This is not irrelevant.
Go online and look at
for what you're
YouTube.
saying.
You'll see that it was not private. It was done in this meeting.
That's fine. Your actions are.
Where can I have this form that you're talking about? What form is there?
There's the court of law for one. I don't know if there's other opportunities or not, but we have county business to conduct here.
There is an issue that I have asked for a long time because I have been on the receiving end of some pretty ugly emails from Commissioner.
And vice versa.
And
by the
I
way.
cannot, there's only one way to take care of an elected official. There is nothing to hold them to. They exist in a realm where policies don't apply to them, and apparently they can do as they please. The only way to take care of an elected official that you don't want in office anymore is to not vote for them.
So two of you cannot censure a third.
I
Even though this,
don't know.
you can censure me. And
And
I'm
I
not
was
an
not
official.
here in 2017, Denny, and I
This happened in
appreciate what
20
you're saying. When did this happen?
It wasn't 2017.
Okay, so
But no, the email that I'm talking about for him just happened in 2020. And she got a copy, then Kip got a copy, you got a copy.
Okay.
So I will look at that, and I know this is not the correct forum for Pro Solicitor Brenneman, but I will look at it and see what can happen. But remember, there's three of us. So even if one of us thinks that censuring someone is a good idea, there has to be.
Well, one of you
consensus.
indicated you were surprised that I didn't do something about it back when I did it. And that's why I didn't do anything, Vince, because you weren't going to do anything.
Danny, I don't know what you're talking about, so.
We were at an event together and you said, I can't believe you didn't say
Wrap it
something
up.
about that email.
Wrap it up.
I can't comment to what you're saying. I don't even know what you're saying.
If we can. Let's do the. So we have, is there any additional public comment? Do we have anyone who legitimate public comment? Okay. All right. If not, that moves us to the consent agenda portion, which we can get to see.
Yes. Okay, so the consent agenda, I think this has become sort of the known pattern. The consent agenda are those items that are non-controversial. We don't believe they require discussion, and that would be agenda items 5 through 12. If anybody believes we should have discussion on any of those items, now would be the time to make that request. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, commissioners, I would ask for approval of the consent agenda.
We have a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
It's moved and seconded. There's no further questions. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners. The regular agenda follows, beginning with agenda item 13. These are non-routine items or items that require discussion, and will be a request to act upon them will be done individually. And so we'll start with Tammy Bender, who's here to discuss the laying on view of the 2023-2024 fiscal budget.
Good morning, commissioners. Before you have the fiscal 23-24 budgets. Just a kind of reminder too, the fiscal budgets are all based on basically estimates of state funding because the state budget has not been approved yet. So these are all, it's our estimated budget that we're putting on you. The total revenue budget is 63 million. The expense budget is $63.4 million. Of that, grants make up about 48.5 million, which is 77% of the budget. Subsidy is 9.9 million, about 15.7%, and other is about 4.6 million and 7% of the budget. Are there any questions about the fiscal budgets? And I ask if we can take action on this item.
Motion.
Will move to approve of laying the 2023-2024 fiscal budget on view.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. No further questions. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, commissioners. Agenda item 14, we have Rebecca Yerrick here to discuss and seek approval for a CDBG commercial revitalization and shop steading loan application. It's nice to see you in person again.
Thank you. Good to be here in person.
Yeah, I'll just make a quick comment. I'm Matt. I own Denim Coffee Company, and we started our first coffee shop right next to the courthouse here 7 years. This one? Oh, no. About 7 years ago.
Is this a branch office?
Yeah, OVS, yeah, there's only one up here. Our most recent one was at Dickinson College, and a coffee shop closed down in Mechanicsburg called Capital Joe's after many years. And we knew about the owners and we knew about that shop. And so Rebecca actually connected us. And we'd like to open a coffee shop in Mechanicsburg downtown at that same location. Seems like there's no other coffee downtown there, and it'd be a good spot. So that we've submitted a request for financing, and I just want to thank you for your time and consideration.
It's a coffee day.
As promised, I'm back with more good news. 36 West Main Street, you heard about that a couple months ago, and we're so helpful in financing the purchase of that building. And at that point, I told you that we were going to do our darndest to make sure that that first floor remained a coffee shop. So with your support here today, that landmark building will boast roasted brews on the first floor. Heard from that, the other owner is Tony Deal. Every perfectly appointed downtown should have a coffee shop. We have a long history with Denim Coffee. Like Matt said, we led him to the availability of that unit well ahead of when it was going to be available. We knew that because we'd worked with the owner. That owner of that building was also in our Cumberland County business portfolio. So he launched his initial roasting business in Shippensburg. That's when we met. And then the Carlisle location became the first Denim Coffee location. I believe it's this way. And I came in and looked before because I was prone to be saying it was over here, but it's not. You haven't moved it. Mechanicsburg will be Denim's 5th location, Carlisle, Harrisburg, Chambersburg, and Dickinson College. Like those, and importantly, we're going to offer more food than Capital Joe had offered, and that's a very selfish of me to request that, but Matt sees it the same way. So they'll not only be selling their coffee, and what's important there is it's their coffee. So they're not just selling coffee, they're selling their coffee, which adds to the business model and of course the value of the business. So we'll be adding flavor and value to the business in downtown Mechanicsburg. For those of us that make these shops their eating meeting places, I'm happy that they're going to be offering more grub, more food, more breakfast sandwiches, pastries, and all, so that for those of us that go from meeting to meeting to meeting at Denim Coffee, we won't have to break and go somewhere else to get a little bite to eat. Baked in their new 10,000 square foot production facility in Chambersburg, which was part of their plan to grow that business. What wasn't anticipated was this availability in Mechanicsburg and the opportunity that it presented. Sometimes that happens. Big expenditure for the production facility and renovations there, and this unanticipated availability. Denim grew from $65,000 in sales in year 1 to over 1.2 million last year, and they're on track for even more in 2023. So they're not just enterprising, they're opportunistic. So while not planned, they'll seize this opportunity to make use of the new location, and we love, that was part of our plan, part of our motivation, that we have a business with a proven track record, a name that's recognized, and a history of success. The request is for $50,000 in 2022 CDBG funds for the purchase of equipment, fixtures, and furnishings. The loan has a 2% interest rate that will be amortized over 25 years with a balloon at 7%. The CDBG loan will be secured by the equipment, fixtures, furnishings, and personal guarantees from Matthew, his wife, Kristen Ramsey, and Tony Deal. As a condition of the loan, they will create 1 full-time job within 2 years, but they'll open with 6. And the owners expect that with this addition, they will be creating a regional manager to oversee those 5 locations. So that's a new job as well. We appreciate your consideration and invite any questions that you may have with your support here today. Dedham expects to open in June. Since this property went on the market in November, you know, because I told you when we were talking about the building sale, that it was our mission to get a top-rate coffee shop in the first floor. And with your approval here today, mission accomplished.
I have a question.
I don't either.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the CDBG commercial revitalization and shop steady loan application for Denham Coffee for $50,000 to open a coffee shop at 36 West Main Street, Mechanics.
I second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Go forth and brew.
Thank you so much.
Look forward to it.
So, good to see you again, Rebecca.
Yes, thank you.
Out and about and
Yes.
up and around.
Not dancing yet, but on the way.
Commissioners, with your permission, I would actually like, and I do see Jamie has joined us on Zoom, but I would like to actually do agenda item 17. We do have Tammy Bender in person. We normally like to cover those agenda items back to back. And so I would like to have her discuss the contract addendum next.
Good morning again. Before you is the Questica contract for our budget software. This is adding 1 year of licensing and maintenance to the contract, which is an increase of $39,445.91. But when you look at how much we were paying for licensing on the previous contract, it was $38,297, which is an increase of $1,148.91, which is a 3% increase on the licensing and maintenance for Questica for 1 year, and they'll renew it each year. Any questions? We take action.
With the motion.
I will move to approve the Questica LTD contract addendum for finance as discussed.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Like, excuse yourselves, that's fine. We don't want to hold up opening day. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move back then to agenda item number 15. Thank you, Jamie, for waiting. Jamie is joining us to discuss a contract addendum for children and youth.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I just have one today for Justice Works Youth Care. We are just adding a program to their current contract called Positive Parenting Program, also known as Triple P. This is an in-home service that can be provided to both biological families as well as foster families in order to keep placements intact. This is also one of the Family First programs that will be eligible for federal funding as well as state and local funding also. And they are doing it at $90 per hour, which is a comparable rate to other like services. Do you have any questions about this program?
We are seeking action today.
Yeah, make a motion to approve the addendum to the Justice Works Youth Care Corporation contract.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Great. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. Have a good day. Next, we have a contract for the District Attorney's Office FID, and we've got Eric Radnovich joining us to discuss and seek approval.
Good morning, Commissioners. The contract before you is a contract for an accreditation company that helps us with maintain our accreditation and laboratory solutions for quality management.
That it?
That's pretty much it. I'm sorry.
Any questions?
I gave you more. I drag it out if you want, but it was pretty much cut and dry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Anybody who has any questions can ask, certainly. So,
Eric, it looks like there's a decrease in the cost per month.
Yes, sir. And we also like the level of service as well better. So we were able to knock out two birds with one stone.
okay, if there's nothing more, we'll entertain a motion for action.
I will move to approve the Solutions for Quality Management contract for the District's Attorney's Office FID.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next time I'll try to give you more information.
That's okay. We'll drag it out of you if we need.
All right.
Thanks, Eric. Okay, so we've covered agenda item 17, so we'll move then to agenda item 18, which is discussion and a request for approval for contracts for MHIDD. And we've got Sue joining us on Zoom. Hi, Sue.
Hey, everybody. Hi. So we have 3 contracts here. The first contract is for a mental health unit. It is Medical Decision Logic Incorporated. It's a new contract for fiscal year 23-24 in the amount of $8,000. And it is a software license and maintenance of the BH Works platform used by CASP, student assistants, and Team 9. And it is a 2-year agreement. The next contract for early intervention is for Lakeside Global Institute. It is new for fiscal year 22-23 in the amount of $500. It is the EI training product license agreement for Amy Swartz, who is our EI supervisor, to utilize Lakeside's Trauma 101 and Trauma 102 training materials for her trauma trainings that she does for schools, the community, the county. This is a contract that will be renewed each year in order for Amy to keep using their training materials. And the last contract is also for EI. It is with Bosler Memorial Library. And it is a partnership agreement between the Bosler Memorial Library and Cumberland Perry Early Intervention to facilitate early intervention families signing up for the library cards and participating in the Bosler Memorial Library's Growing Readers Birthday Book Club. There is a 0 amount to this. It is just an agreement of what each of the parties will do. Is there any questions?
They're looking for approval today.
I'll make a motion to approve the contracts for MHIDD as listed, and that would include for mental health, medical, the contract with Medical Decision Logic, Inc., early intervention, the Lakeside Global Institute, and for the Bosler Memorial Library.
I second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. No further questions. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Okay, and next, agenda item number 19, we have discussion and a request of approval for grants and contracts for public safety. And Mike Snyder is joining us to discuss. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. The Hazardous Materials Response Fund Grant Public Safety is requesting the board's approval to apply for the fiscal year 23-24 Hazardous Materials Response Fund, or HMRF, grant agreement in the amount of $27,542. The amount of funding awarded for each county is subject to the availability of funds in the HMRF program at PEMA, and then a funding formula is applied to determine each county's portion, and Cumberland County's award this year is $27,542, which is an increase of $3,709 from last year. The grant is 100% state funding through the Chemical Safety Program. The grant has a performance period of 7/1/23 to 6/30/24 and is made available to fund equipment and training that will support the hazardous materials emergency response operations that align with the cost categories outlined in Act 165 in our submitted county budget. In summary, the approval request is for FY 23-24 HMRF grant in the amount of $27,542. The second contract is with Intergraph Corporation. We're asking for your approval of the contract for a CAD-to-CAD interface with our public safety partners in Perry County to send mutual aid resources within the online systems. This is for the purchase of the interface implementation, testing, and year 1 of maintenance with a cost of $36,689.50. This will be a net 0 impact to our budget as it is applied toward our overall existing credit with the vendor as part of the CAD project. Again, asking for approval to engage in a net 0 cost agreement with Intergraph for CAD-to-CAD with Perry County. And I'll take any questions if you have any.
I don't either.
Very good. So we are looking for approvals.
I will move to approve the grants and contracts for public safety, the first being for hazardous materials response fund grant application with an amount to be determined, and the second for Intergraph Corporation.
We do have an amount that was determined. Is that correct, Mike? Or is that still an estimate, the 27?
That is an estimate unless Pima changes the.
So that's what we have applied for, that we weren't
Correct.
quite sure based on, so the way that this works, if I may, they tell us what we are applying for, unlike other grants where we apply for an amount that we have determined, correct? So at the
Correct.
time the paperwork was done, they had not told us what we would be applying for, and then now we do have that amount. Do you want to give us that amount one more time, Mike?
$27,542, which would be a slight increase from the previous year.
Thank you.
Second motion.
It is moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thanks, Mike.
So that concludes our contracts, and so we'll move then to agenda item number 20, which is Commissioner's Liaison Reports, and I'll start with Commissioner Eichelberger.
Okay, briefly, did get an update from Justin was sharing, Justin Miller, recycling the household hazardous waste numbers for the latest event was the highest participation in the last 5 events. We had some, he said we had some bigger numbers during the pandemic, but obviously a lot of folks still utilizing this. We had 358 customers arrive for household hazardous waste. Total pounds was 32,545. Of that, 24,290 was paint. So paint is still overwhelmingly the main event as in terms of weight and poundage mass. So also the tire collection event, that's May 15 to 17, 4:30 to 6:30. That currently 67 people registered for that. 856 tires slated to come our way. Joe said he thinks it's probably going to top 1,000. So that obviously a potentially really useful event. These guys continue to do a great job. So I'm very proud of them. Overall, the only other item I have is on the MHIDP side. We've all received pretty substantive briefings on that. I did want to mention the board meeting was the advisory committee meeting was last week, and worth noting that we had a pretty substantial discussion regarding the funding issues, and Dave Simonik raised questions in regards to the county's role over the years, the history of the situation. We had a really, I think, superb discussion about what the county's been involved in, what the county's done, some perspectives on advocacy to try to close this gap. And Dave also put in it's worth mentioning, put in a plug to not let intellectual disabilities get forgotten in this. They also face substantial shortfalls in terms of resources and such. So measures received on that. Of course, right now the MH is the big dollar amount, and the budget is the looming issue. So we're going to continue paying a good deal of attention on that. But good discussion. I think the advisory board members found it really helpful. I know Larry Raisinger, the new representative from Perry County Commissioner, said he found the background very, very helpful from the discussion. Larry's been very involved. He came to our last town hall meeting, and we had a very nice discussion with him afterwards. So he's very hands-on with it. And speaking of those meetings, just wanted a reminder that the next town hall meeting on the MH issue is Monday night. Are we still at 5:30? We're sticking with what, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. And it's in Shippensburg. It's on Orange Street at is that their training firefighters?
It's the activity center.
Activity center on Orange Street.
Firefighters activity.
Firefighters activity. Okay. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout there. Like we've had for the last 2 meetings. Engage the public. Hopefully the community comes out, shares their experiences, and provides knowledge and gains knowledge from it. So it has been a great meeting so far. That is everything I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Fauci.
Well, good morning, everyone. I will remind you to use the Cumberland County Library System. I'm so happy about the partnership with MHIDD and the library system to promote reading to early intervention families. We voted on that this morning. Such a great service. The library system has a new program going. It's called Libraries and Bookstores, a Perfect Pairing, and it is a collaboration with local bookstores. The first one was on April 19th at Midtown Scholar Bookstore, and it really is a good opportunity for people to meet authors. And it's also one of those things that will bring some pretty big authors to the area. So another really great thing that's happening at the library system. On April 20th, the Planning Commission met and the South Middleton Township Edris ASA application was recommended for approval. The Cumberland County Planning Department has put out its 2022 growth trends report. And obviously we're growing. This really kind of takes it down into some nitty gritty. And this material, as well as all planning materials, are available on the Planning Commission's website. That is very easy to access from Cumberland County's website. And then finally, in the subdivision and land development activity for March 2023, there were 20 subdivision plans, and year to date, there's 50. And last year at that time, there were 34. So clearly we are growing. Is all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner DiFilippo.
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. The Aging Advisory Board, excuse me, met last Friday. We have a new community services supervisor, Ann Wagner, who came from the County Housing and Redevelopment Authority. The Department of Aging is prepping for the ending of the public health emergencies and the allowances that came from it. Food banks can apply for a $1.6 million grant that was announced by Governor Shapiro to help them with an expected increase in costs. Some legislative updates. We heard on the news about skill games. State Senator Gene Yaw is continuing his quest to legalize slot machine-like skill games. And our Department of Aging has met with his staff and a lobbyist for the manufacture of these games to encourage them to include a substantial mandatory distribution of revenue directly to the Pennsylvania Lottery Fund to support our area agencies on aging and pen care programs. Our department is working with members of the Long-Term Care Council and the Senior Support Coalition to encourage Governor Shapiro to issue an executive order for all agencies and state government to support the Department of Aging's project to establish an evolving living master plan for aging and disabilities. Annie Huff met with Representative Patty Kim. Patty Kim is the Aging and Older Adult Services Chair. And Tuesday of this week, we had the volunteer recognition appreciation lunch at the Hickory Ridge Restaurant, just in within Middlesex Township. I attended. Also, the Pennsylvania Department of Aging Secretary Jason Kovalich was there, and he was the keynote speaker and gave a pretty rousing speech to our volunteers. It's very, very appreciative. Conservation District met on April 25th. There will be another Envirothon this year. It will be at Possum Lake on May 3rd. I'll be attending. We got some reports on the tree seedling sale. We have 451 customers. I think this ranks 3rd overall for attendance. There were some awards given. I can't announce the names yet because I don't think the folks have been contacted, but there was a Clean Water Award. There was also the Conservation District Farmer of the Year Award and the Conservation Organization of the Year Award. We'll be able to give those names out hopefully next time. Proposed state funding for conservation districts did not change from last year. There was no increase. However, we will be able to get by with what funds we are receiving. We are getting plenty of money from state and federal for best management practices. And there is quite a few number of farmers who are working to get these BMPs installed on their properties. And CapCog met last Monday. The main question that I had to address at the county level is what is going on with the radios. Will Paris be able to be included as purchasing? And I told them to please stay tuned. We'll have some information, I hope, very shortly. And that is all I have, Stacy.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sure.
I would like to report that an executive session was held on April 20, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. regarding personnel. And then I'll ask if any other business needs to come before the board today. Okay, hearing none and seeing none, we are adjourned.